Father of Eric Rivera says LAPD officers came to his house and interrogated him for 20 minutes about his son before they even had the decency to tell him his son had died. I spoke with a rep at LAPD headquarters, and she says that the incident is still under investigation and those officers are cleared to work in the field. Cleared to work in the field.
LA Police Commission ruled the officer-involved shooting of Eric Rivera was justified.
Police Commission unanimously ruled the shooting of Eric Rivera was in policy.
I travel back and forth here every week to go to police commission meetings and protesting and stuff like that. I've been working hard at it for the whole year, and I'm not giving up. I'm not stopping either. So there was a call out saying there was some 40-year-old man walking down the street with a gun. Right? Eric looks young. He's only 20.
Right.
So he's walking this way, and LAPD gets the dispatch in. So they're like, okay, we're gonna come. So they start coming. They're driving this way. They spot Eric walking this way, so they turn and they make a U-turn, and then they start coming this way. Gets out of the car and doesn't put the car in park. Both of them actually jumped out the car with their guns drawn, actually. So they're both out the car with their guns drawn. The driver trips as he's coming out the car. He trips, falls, hits his elbow on the street. He then starts telling his partner, I don't know if I'm hit, man, I don't know if I'm hit. So his partner begins to start shooting towards my son. My son's being shot down. He then tells the driver, oh shit, the car's still in drive. Step on the brake, jump in, step on the brake. So the cop goes, puts his gun back in the holster, begins to try to jump into the car, and when he jumped in, he was gonna supposedly step on the brake, but he steps on the gas instead. So now the car is being launched towards him. And it ends up hitting him. You've seen the picture. I'll show you again. It ends up hitting him.
He hit this gate right here where this bend is.
Yeah, that's where the tip of it right there hit the gate. And then it ends up pinning him under the vehicle. And if it wasn't for this gate being right here, that tire would have ran over his face. It would have. And so I thank God, that this gate was here. And they end up leaving him there for 12 hours with the car on, I heard. So the heat of the car eventually began to burn his chest. So when they did the autopsy, they said that he had excessive burn marks on his chest because of the car. They shot him 7 times with one fatal shot to the head, which entered right there, right above his left ear, and it exited right behind the right ear on the bottom. And honestly, I really feel like that the headshot was the last shot. They didn't even put a blanket on him, nothing. So they left it there for 12 hours, and then the next day they had to come and hire a crane to pick up their patrol car and lift it off of him and move it. The workers went back to work, the cops went back to work the next day.
Really?
Yeah, and I've been.
Is that by policy? Did they?
I've been confronting them about it. I've been going to the police commission meetings, and
for the fact that even the officer is having to deal with the fact that he's just killed somebody, right?
So how can you
So how can you put them back in the field?
Right.
Nobody wants that.
Charlie Beck, and he finally told me, I kept telling him, who's responsible for letting those cops go back to work? They don't even deserve to work anymore. What they did, was mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake, and they're working? It doesn't make no sense to me.
They should.
First off, there's some job security for police officers. So they're secure in their jobs, even if they kill someone. He felt that they were completely fine to go back to work like men.
Right.
How do you even qualify a person in 24 hours to go back to work? You need to really... They just ruled on my son's case 2 months ago that all the police commissioners ruled that what happened to my son was in policy. And then, when my boys were out here being harassed, right when I walked out the gate, they pulled up immediately. I just barely walked in the gate to go use the restroom, and I was knocking on the door to see if they were there, and then I just looked down the walkway and I see the cop car right there.
Oh yeah. And your heart probably dropped, huh?
I know. I was like, oh my God, my kids are out there. I'll be right back. So I come running out, and I have my phone in my hand, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? All my boys are all lined up right here. These are my children, by the way. These are my boys, by the way.
They're over there, please, at the door,
Yeah, I'm right here at Eric's site on Wilmington Boulevard and Denny Street, and we're here in memory of my son, Eric, that was murdered by LAPD Harbor Division for nothing, and they are here harassing my children in handcuffs because we're standing here in memory of my son. It's Easter. What are your names? Arturo URRTURIAS and Daniel Ramirez murdered my child. What is your name, officer?
Go over there, please.
I'm really upset. My kid was murdered not even a year ago right here at this site, and you guys are going to harass us. This is what they're doing. They're harassing us for standing right here in our street, harassing us at my son's memorial site. You guys are harassing my kids. Your officers killed my 20-year-old son last year. Right here. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. And you guys ain't got nothing better to do. Searching the car. My boys are underage, officer. They're underage. And all we're doing is celebrating my 20-year-old son that was murdered by LAPD Harbor Division last year in June. Hi.
So you know.
What's your name, sir?
I'm Officer Stickney.
Because I'm still looking for the two officers that murdered my son that are still working today. Detective. Where are you taking my son?
Mama, they fucking weirdos.
Where are you taking my son? This is crazy.
You arrested us. Oh, you get that shit. Oh, you arrested us.
It makes it so hard to see these officers harassing my children. When they took my baby, when they took my son's life, it makes it so hard not to be angry over this situation. This is bullshit. We'll move the cars. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God.
Mama, don't worry about it. You good.
Oh, God, thank God.
Good, Mom. You good. Good.
It's all good. They ain't gonna do nothing to us. They just fucking cowards that are trying to fuck with people. Good.
So I get my phone and I'm like, I'm going Facebook Live with this shit. What the hell are you guys doing right now? And then he goes, the cop turns to me while he's got my hand in his hand. Like,
Oh, he
looks at me, he tells me, oh, you don't have to do that. I got my body cam on. He actually points to his chest. He's like, I got my body cam on. And I said, I don't give a fuck about your body cam. But there's body footage, body cam and dash cam footage of my kid being murdered right here, and I haven't seen it yet. So screw that. I'm videotaping this shit myself.
Right, exactly.
And he didn't like that. He gave me a dirty look after that.
Yeah.
Here is the final document regarding the officer-involved shooting of Eric Rivera. The officers aren't named in this document. They're referred to as Officer A and Officer B. Officer A, I believe, is the one that was driving, and Officer B was passenger. I have read this whole document, and I'm not going to read it now, so I will put a link to this document in the description. I just want to go over two things that really stood out for me. The first is regarding the body cam and dash cam footage. This section D, audio video recordings. Digital in-car video systems. That would be the dash cam. Officers A and B did not activate their DICVS, which is digital in-car video system, aka dash cam. So what it is saying is that the officers who shot and killed Eric Rivera did not have their dash cam activated, which is a problem because later in this they explain that the body cam footage, because all officers did have their body cam on, but their body camera footage was obstructed by, it says, cameras were intermittently obscured by the outstretched arms and vehicle door frames, and therefore only captured limited footage of the subject's actions and body position at the time of the OIS. In other words, their body cam footage did not allow them to see what he was saying, what Eric was saying, what Eric was doing. If their report matches, if they had their dash cam on, it would have been able to see that. And the reason I bring that up as well is because I was under the impression that dash cams automatically activated when lights and sirens are activated. And I say that because, according to Officer B, he was driving the police vehicle at approximately 5 to 10 miles per hour. Activated his light to alert other vehicles of his presence. I want to make sure that we all see. Activated his lights to alert the other vehicles of his presence. Activating his lights and sirens, I was under the impression automatically activated the dash cam.
Does your thing blink when it's on all the time?
So the green means it's on standby, so it's constantly recording. So if let's turn it on now, right? So it's on. It recorded 30 seconds before I hit the on button.
Oh, word. Oh, I see. So it's got like a backup data.
Yeah. So it's technically constantly recording.
Do you guys have that trigger that when you get out of the car it turns on automatically or anything like that?
No, we have to manually hit it.
Some departments have like when the sirens go on, their dash cam goes on.
Well, the dash cam goes on. See, that's what doesn't make any sense. The LAPD should have got something that linked together, you know what I mean? Because I don't have to hit, like, so this is the mic for the car video, right? So either I gotta hit the mic or I gotta turn my lights on. Right? And then the camera will go on by itself. Yeah. Now, see, with this thing, you have to manually hit it. So it'd be a lot easier, like, if I hit my lights and then it all goes on. Yeah.
The last thing I want to kind of go over is the verbiage they use when concluding these reports, how they have found the actions in policy and justified, opposed to not within policy and unjustified. So if you look at Section C, lethal force, it says at the end here, based upon the totality of the circumstances, the BOPC determined that an officer with similar training and experiences as officers A and B, while faced with similar circumstances, would reasonably believe the subject's actions posed an imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury at the time of officers A and B fired their weapons. Therefore, the BOPC found officers A and B's lethal use of force to be objectively reasonable and in policy. Determined that an officer with similar training and experience, basically it's not A and B's fault because we haven't trained them or given them the appropriate experience. Now, officers A and B, A has 15 years of service. You would think that he would have plenty of training under his belt, plenty of experience under his belt. Now, even 8 years is a pretty decent amount of time in service. They're implying the speculation that these officers and every other officer with these amount of years would have responded the exact same way. No. Something that is written down and that it is appropriate and accepted. Not by me, and not by his mother, and not by a lot of people, but the ones that...
Miss Helen Jones right here, she is a mother as well as me that has lost our son. And she has been the biggest inspiration to me. I look so highly up to her because she has been in this fight for 9 years now. 9 years she's been doing this. And, you know, I've already accepted, I already know that I'm going to be in this fight for my lifetime. And for me to see somebody that's still doing this and still in that lifetime fight as well, it lets me know I can be in this too and I can keep pushing forward and I can do this. You know,
thank everybody for coming out for Valerie and Eric's father. We really appreciate that because that's just some people coming out to help and support and just showing the police that people care about his life. It's people that care about what happened to him. And they need to see that. They need to see that Eric had a family. Eric had parents that loved him. He got brothers and sisters, brothers that care about him, that love him, that miss him terribly. They don't care about our kids. They kill our shootout. They only killing black and brown people. And they killing us like we just roaches. That's how they taking us out, doing us just like that. And they're gonna continue if we don't band together and do something about it. Everybody know what they did to Eric was wrong. It don't take no rocket scientist to show how you gonna shoot somebody down and then run them over. That don't even make no sense. It don't even make no, who else you heard got done like this? Nobody. And then nobody got arrested. Nobody went to jail. Her tears don't even matter to the police. I know that because they beat my son to death in the county jail and then staged the suicide and say he hung himself. So I know how it goes. And they bust all his organs, beat his face, his head, and everything. So I know what the police will do. They will do all this and keep doing it. And you see, have they stopped? And they not gonna never stop. This gonna keep continuing unless they see us come together. And really tell you the truth, you bringing us together. You once divided us in prisons. You once divided us on the streets. Now you bringing us together. You bringing us together because you only killing our kids. You're not killing nobody else's kids. You taking our children's life. And then in the end, it's nothing being done about it. I'm proud of you, Valerie, because I know what it takes to get up out of bed every day. Your first year, your first couple of months, and you feel like you're losing your mind. I'm really here? Is this really happening? Every day you get up and like, I had to ask somebody every day, is John dead? Yeah, Helen, John is dead. So I'm like, okay, Helen, this is real. So I know what y'all going through. I know how that feels. I know when you get up every day, you just hoping, damn, I hope tomorrow when I get up, this not true. Maybe I'm just in a badass dream that's gonna play out tomorrow. I know how that feels, because I've been there. I went through that for damn near a whole year, really like 6 months, like, okay, you know, you be in that fog dream and hoping that, okay, this is gonna end. But you know that this is real. Eric is gone. And they took his life. And it's up to all of us to fight, help Valerie and her family, fight, come together, and get justice for him, because if we don't, they're gonna keep on doing it. Look what they did to her baby. Pushed her baby on a train. How could you do that? How could you push, don't you say that? How you gonna push her baby out on a train right in front of everybody? You can look at the video and see they pushed him out on the train. But guess what? They have policies to protect the police. That's why they're getting away with killing our kids, because it's the policies they have in place that's been there for years that's working against them. So I just want to say I appreciate everybody for coming out and supporting Valerie and Phil and the kids on what's going on with Eric, because we in this fight for life. We in this fight for life right with him. So I really appreciate it. Thank you for listening.